After her first 3 albums solidified Eve as one of the mainstream rappers to emerge from the 2000s, she quickly rose to prominence with her versatility, confidence, and emotional depth. She skillfully balances gritty street sensibilities with mainstream appeal, making her one of the most dynamic and respected voices in hip-hop. Her first 3 albums reached the top 10 on the Billboard 200, and there was much anticipation for her 4th project. However, Eve's highly anticipated album titled Here I Am spiraled into chaos. Label drama, disappointing singles, and constant delays pushed the project back as the album was reworked a number of times. It would eventually be renamed Flirt before being scrapped entirely. Some of the ideas originally intended for Here I Am would be morphed into what would later become her eventual 4th album, Lip Lock. This is the story of Here I Am, the album lost to industry turmoil. Love music. Dive deeper into the stories behind the hits and hidden gems, and explore the eras that have defined some of your favourite artists. Subscribe now and never miss a beat. Hit that bell icon so you're always the first to know when I drop new content. Now back to the video. Eve's mainstream success showcased her evolution as an artist, blending hardcore rap with crossover appeal, while exploring themes of empowerment, relationships, and personal resilience. Her debut album, Let There Be Eve, was raw and gritty, with a heavy Rough Riders influence and aggressive production from Swiss beats. Thematically, it discussed elements including street life, loyalty, and Eve's bold emergence as a formidable rapper. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, making her the 3rd female rapper in history at the time of its release to achieve this, solidifying her place in hip-hop while retaining her street edge. The sophomore project, Scorpion, contained a mix of hardcore rap and polished mainstream production, incorporating funk and R&B elements. The album balances tough, confident tracks with introspective songs about relationships and self-reflection. This was the first time Eve experienced crossover success. The single Let Me Blow Your Mind helped Scorpion expand Eve's audience. By the 3rd album, Eve's sound was more melodic, with smoother production. Subject matter remained consistent across all 3 projects. However, as Eve was growing as an artist and a person, the tracks took on a more softer, introspective tone. In the mid-2000s, hip-hop underwent a significant shift as artists increasingly incorporated mainstream-friendly sonic elements to appeal to a broader audience. This era was defined by experimentation with pop, R&B, and dance influences, making the genre more accessible to radio and global markets. Many hip-hop artists adopted polished, melodic production with catchy hooks to achieve crossover success. Collaborations with pop and R&B artists also became a common strategy to boost sales. Producers like Swiss Beats, Timbaland, and the Neptunes were at the forefront of creating infectious beats that appealed to both hip-hop and pop audiences. As a result, hip-hop began incorporating elements of dancehall, reggaeton, and electro music, reflecting a growing global influence. These trends likely influenced Eve's plans for the 4th album, as she sought to maintain relevance in a rapidly evolving musical landscape. Other projects released by female MCs around this time also attempted to evolve their traditional hip-hop sounds. Missy Elliott's The Cookbook and Trina's Glamorous Life pushed creativity and diversified their sound. Going into the project, Eve described the album as a fresh start, calling it the project she's always wanted to make. After a 4-year hiatus, she aimed to break free from past conventions and create an album that sounded different. Unlike her earlier male-influenced records, this one attempted to reflect the woman she'd become, making it a feel-good album that energized and uplifted the listener. The initial rollout for the album began in early 2007, when Tambourine was released in April. It marked her return to music and showcased a bold shift toward a more mainstream, club-oriented sound. Whilst Eve's signature songs, Who's That Girl and Let Me Blow Your Mind, caught on in mainstream markets, Tambourine features a minimalist, infectious beat with heavy bass, sharp claps, and rhythmic instrumentation, creating a dance floor-ready anthem. Produced by longtime collaborator Swiss Beats and written by Eve and Sean Garrett, the song celebrates confidence, fun, and letting loose. The track, which sampled the 1974 song Blow Your Whistle, featured a repetitive, catchy hook that was designed to stick in listeners' heads, a hallmark of mid-2000s club hits. The visual, directed by Melina Matsoukas, is colourful and high energy, featuring Eve at a lively party with elaborate choreography and bold fashion. It visually reinforced the song's carefree and celebratory vibe. A remix featuring Missy Elliott and Fabulous was also released, which elevated the track's energy, adding new dynamics to the song. While the original focused on Eve's commanding presence, the remix brought in fresh perspectives that complemented the club-ready vibe. The remix helped extend the song's longevity in clubs and on radio, adding variety for DJs and listeners. While the remix didn't achieve the same commercial visibility as the original, it helped to reinforce the song's presence in hip-hop and club culture. Commercially, the single experienced modest success, particularly in the context of her previous singles released. On the Hot 100, the song peaked at number 37, a much lower placement compared to singles from the first 3 albums. The song received significant radio play, particularly in urban and rhythmic formats, and became a club staple thanks to its production. Digital downloads also heavily contributed to its chart performance, showcasing that Eve's voice was still very much in demand. While Tambourine didn't dominate the charts, it helped reintroduce Eve's music to the public after a hiatus and became a fan favourite. However, the lack of an accompanying album hindered its potential to achieve greater commercial success. Interscope Records likely viewed the performance of the single as underwhelming relative to their expectations for a lead single from a high-profile artist. Despite its dynamic production, it didn't achieve the crossover success of Eve's past hits, as Tambourine was expected to generate significant buzz and re-establish her as a commercial force in a competitive market. Without a breakout hit to anchor the album, the label may have been hesitant to greenlight its release, fearing it wouldn't meet sales expectations. This cautious approach, compounded by corporate changes, would begin Eve's dissatisfaction with the overall creative process for the project. The second single from the era, Give It To You, featuring Sean Paul, was released in the summer of 2007. The song, which attempted to take a different approach than Tambourine, blended hip-hop with dancehall elements, aiming to capitalize on the growing popularity of reggae and dancehall in the 2000s. Swiss Beats again took on production, with Eve and Sean Paul picking up writing credits. In keeping with the previous single, Eve's verses are playful and flirtatious, matching the upbeat and sultry tone of the track. The visual, again directed by Matsoukas, featured vibrant tropical visuals with energetic choreography, highlighting the song's dancehall influences and party atmosphere. Critics praised the chemistry between Eve and Sean Paul, as well as the song's laid-back groove, but felt it lacked the standout appeal needed to dominate radio or the charts at the time of its release. Despite Sean Paul's star power and the song's infectious beat, it failed to chart significantly, reflecting a lukewarm reception. The song didn't chart on the Hot 100, a key benchmark for mainstream success. Internationally, the track also failed to chart. Despite their moderate commercial performance, Tambourine and Give It To You are strong additions to Eve's discography and contribute to her overall legacy. They demonstrated the rapper's ability to evolve, embracing the sonic and thematic elements that were popular at the time. These tracks showed her willingness to experiment with sounds outside her traditional gritty hip-hop style, proving her versatility as an artist. At this point, Eve had released 2 tracks that were intended for the Here I Am rollout. However, the chart performance of both singles likely contributed to nervousness at Interscope. The label may have interpreted this as a sign that Eve's relevance in the evolving music scene was waning, especially with the rise of pop-rap hybrids and other female artists like Rihanna dominating the charts. Alongside promotion of both singles, Eve continued to promise that her album was coming. What the public didn't realise was in the background tensions between Eve and Interscope were strained, and it's likely the label were forcing some of the songs to be reworked using newer ideas and trends to ensure that the album sounded commercially relevant. Eve had initially wanted the project to be a true reflection of where she was artistically. However, the label were making decisions that was changing Eve's vision and output for the album. While Swiss Beats played a central role in shaping the album, Eve wanted to bring a fresh sound to her discography. She also worked with other high-profile producers, including the Neptunes, Timbaland, and Dr. Dre, contributing to a more polished and mainstream sound. Looking through the tracklist of the now leaked project, Eve was also working with different and varied featured artists. Some of these were organic features, whilst others were due to tracks that were intended for other artists and then later given to Eve. One example of this was the track called "The Beat Is So Crazy," which was reportedly recorded for Madonna's Hard Candy era, but never used. Whilst Madonna provided the hook, adding her iconic flair to the song's vibe, Eve delivered playful, assertive verses. Another pop crossover from the project was titled "Guess Who's Single," which was another Neptunes production. The track, written by Lady Gaga, who at the time was still an emerging artist, was actively working with Kalina Harper to write a number of songs for different artists. This included Telephone, which was intended for Britney Spears, and Let Them Hoes Fight, which would end up going to Trina.
Thought you would have been leaving me alone like a kid without a daddy, but guess what? I'm fully grown. I can bounce back fast, but that fact you should have known. I was fly before I met you, always make it on my own, Won't lie, I cried, but I knew the pain of past. No more living in the lie, cause the lies never last. No more thinking you that guy, you just a guy from the past. No more baby talk or wet and walk, you gonna miss me bad, man. Yeah, well, I guess it's for the best. I guess we'll try to be friends, I guess that'll be a mess, Yeah, then we'll be hating on each other. It was one time forever, now I guess we left with never. Come on.
It's okay, it's alright. I live with, but you decided. I knew you thought there'd be no go, but I'm okay. I go solo. Hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now.
Guess who's single?
Hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now.
Other features included T.I. on Cash Flow, which was rumoured to be the third single, Timbaland, Sizzler, Eminem, and Robin Thicke. This eclectic mix of features showcased that whilst Eve was rooted in hip-hop, she was ready to step outside and explore other musical genres. Changes in leadership and shifting priorities at the label created a lack of consistent support for Eve's project. These internal disruptions led to multiple delays and a loss of momentum. The underperformance of the lead singles made the label hesitant to invest further in the project. Without a clear hit, Interscope was unwilling to risk the financial resources required for a full album rollout. Over a 12-month period, the album underwent significant reworking as Eve and her team tried to align with shifting music trends and address the label's concerns. At some point during this process, the title for the project changed from Here I Am to Flirt, reflecting the evolving creative decisions. It didn't help matters when in 2009 several tracks from the project leaked online. While the leaks demonstrated the album's potential, they likely diminished any remaining confidence the label had in a proper release. Over the next few years, a full roster of tracks likely intended for the project would eventually leak online. It's not clear if some of the tracks are the finished studio versions, demos, reference tracks, or a combination of all three.
Yeah. You know them nights when you looking good, when it all come together, sexy head to toe like you know you should. Body banging, got their tongues hanging, got them lined up, wanting your attention, but you like to keep them waiting. Gliding through, they screaming sexy, but you keep it moving constantly. Smile them at them, come and get me. A lot of dudes ain't got the courage, so till they get it up, live it up. Mommy down, keep you worried. Attention something that you get, not something that you need. Unless you spot the dude that makes you weak, then if that's the case, gotta let it flow. Get close to him, let him in your ear, this is what you hear.
Only you, you're my fantasy. Girl, you know that I wanna do things to you. Nobody else gets to do. You, only you, you're my fantasy. Girl, you know that I wanna make it come true.
Me and my bitches up in the club. Me and my bitches up in the club. Acting like we hot, posing up for thugs. Acting like we hot, posing up for thugs. Never knew a bitch like you could dance. Never knew a bitch like you could dance. Dance, come on, dance, come on, dance, come on, dance, come on. Never knew a bitch like you could dance. Now you gotta cry acting like your fans. Get them all excited now, wave your hands. Tonight was a night and it was your plan. Out with your bitches, they for your man. Get a little crazy just cause you can. Ain't nothing wrong when they put on a song. Just dance, come on, dance, come on. Let it all go cause it's dark and moist. Talk with your body, mommy, not your voice. All night party, you got the choice. Just dance, come on, dance, come on. Me and my bitches up in the club. Me and my bitches up in the club. Acting like we hot, posing up for thugs. Acting like we hot, posing up for thugs.
The album could have been a defining moment in Eve's career, showcasing her evolution as an artist and her ability to blend genres. Many fans were left frustrated, as Here I Am had been highly anticipated and featured collaborations with prominent artists and producers most Eve had not yet worked with. Despite its shelving, the project remains an intriguing chapter in Eve's career, symbolizing her ambition and the industry challenges faced by female rappers at the time. The Lost album illustrates the complexities of navigating creative ambition within the constraints of the music industry, leaving behind a project that still sparks curiosity and speculation.
I was supposed to put out a record after Tambourine, and I had a whole album ready to go called Here I Am, and I got shelved. I went through being angry, wanting to kill mother. And then I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't need it. I don't need you. So I went through a lot of emotions, and now I'm here, and now I'm excited. Now I'm like rejuvenated. Now I feel like a new artist. Like, it feels good.